Virginia Bray, and I'm a founder and director of Marketing Fusion. We're a content marketing agency specialising in B2B tech businesses, helping people to tell their stories, get their message out there in a much more clear and concise way. And I'm here today with Sandrijn Stead from CapametriX, and we're going to talk a bit about channel, I believe.
Looking forward to it. So hello, I'm Sandrijn Stead. I've been in the channel and in the IT industry for quite a few years, although I don't look that old, obviously. Currently, I'm very focused on through channel marketing, marketing enablement of partners, and channeling in general.
So we're obviously business partners. We work together quite a lot. We've got some joint customers together, which is, we've got to know our audiences fairly well. Just interested to get your take on what you see as some of the sort of biggest trends in the channel these days. What do you think's changed? Has it changed in the last couple of years?
Definitely, yeah, absolutely. So I think obviously with COVID and organisations having to digitise much more than they previously had to, now most organisations have moved, if not 100% digital, a long way. So a lot of people were sourcing phone lists that were office based. When you're not in an office,
it's not so good anymore.
It's not so easy to do, is it? And equally, I don't know about anybody else, but if I see a random number on my phone, I don't necessarily pick it up. I quite often put it to voicemail. Yeah. So that made telemarketing much harder.
And direct mail as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've stopped.
Most recently, we do an analysis on how opportunities are generated across all of our customers when they'll tell us. And we see kind of a sine wave on certain factors. So for example, pay-per-click at the moment has really surprised us in the last 2-3 months. It's increased dramatically in engagement and response rate.
I think, it's also interesting to see how the channel has evolved in the last couple of years, and really the difficulty that some vendors are having in getting that kind of engagement with their channel partners. Is that something that you guys have
definitely
seen?
And with moving targets and customers who are harder to get hold of, you really need those USPs or unique selling points. You have to be able to portray them well, and you have to work well with the partners. So if you've got the best product in the world, but you've got a terrible partner program and you don't support them with through channel marketing solutions, you're in a really sticky place.
I think it is a challenge, and particularly these days, to kind of create something, for example, to offer to a partner that has an element of uniqueness, so they don't feel like they're getting the same program that everybody else is getting, but it's giving them something that they can then take and customise to themselves. I don't know if there's an easy answer, but maybe it's about how you partner selection.
I don't think anything's easy. No, that's true, absolutely true. I don't want to be too negative, but I think joint marketing is more often than not. It is co-branding.
Right, okay.
Now that isn't actually joint marketing. I consider joint marketing when the force of two entities are pushing together. How often do you, if you're a reseller partner or a distribution partner, how often do your vendors click and like on shares? How often are they promoting your emails, your website, that engagement? A lot of vendors don't even have partner links on their websites. Find a partner, good luck, contact us here. So I think that joint marketing is something that is a great opportunity, and if you are in that kind of space, it's very beneficial. But I think that having focused marketing and enabling that is a good spend. It shows a higher return on investment, it's a higher value proposition, and it benefits everybody in that chain. So when you break it down, that is really important. The problem is longevity of engagement like that, because you need high quality assets, you need thought leadership, you need guru positioning, you need individualized components. Popping out a white paper once a quarter isn't really going to help. So ideally you're working with smart partners and subject matter experts at those partners to assist them to build their own assets, which then support you, and everybody's happy.
So do you see any particular trends in the way that marketers are are responding to these changes. Obviously, we talked about digitisation, and we talked about sort of some narrowing of the focus, maybe.
I think absolutely. I think within a lot of vendors, there's a higher headcount now, so that it takes more people. I think that the kind of the touch points that were much further apart tend to be much more regular. Okay. So if you have a partner channel marketing person, they might be managing 15 to 20 accounts. They aren't contacting them once a quarter now. Right. They're contacting them 2 or 3 times a week, if not more. Yeah. And so they tend to be a lot more engaged in those throughputs. On top of that, the only other piece which I would say, which I think has changed significantly, is the kind of overlay engagement of large players. So previously, tier ones didn't tend to play that well together, and they certainly didn't like co-funding unless it was an event and they're on a booth over there and someone was over there. Now there are quite a few partnerships that are building and growing where if you've got 4 or 5 of them, you can contribute that into an overall solution, and then everybody gets their piece of the pie. That's a good, smart strategy. It reduces risk for everybody, and it increases the quality of the program for the partners. And I think that's a win-win-win for everybody.
So, obviously we've seen some significant changes. We've seen the digitisation, we've seen the narrowing of the focus, and we've seen the shift towards corporation. Is there anything else that marketers, like say channel marketers, need to be aware of? Obviously, we've seen some other trends within the channel of the just the difficulty of getting engagement from channel partners. The fact that there's so much noise in the marketplace. Is there anything that channel marketers can do to kind of create that better level of engagement?
Absolutely. I also believe that there's a lot of apathy in the channel at the moment. Okay. It's problematic.
It's overwhelming for them, isn't it? They've got so many vendors trying to compete for their attention.
Well, in
it
fact,
can be a little bit crazy.
It's every part. It's distribution, it's vendors. Everybody wants a slice of the pie, and I understand that. But quite often, you have to consider that you've got to put more in before you get something out. I watched a podcast last week or the week before, and I don't know whether I agree with this, but I do think as a strategy it's a very interesting one. They were debating that if you've got 1,000 partners in your EMEA partner program, some have many, many more, as we know. If you have 1,000 partners and only 25 of those partners are producing 99% of your business, because I personally believe that the 80-20 rule is long gone. It's the 99-1.
No, 99-1.
99-1 is my personal magic number, but that maybe I'm happy to debate and be wrong. But if you've got 25 partners out of the 1,000, then and you need to double your number next year. Oftentimes, you will hear sane people say, we need to get another 1,000 partners. Actually, what this podcast was saying, and I do think I'm verging on the idea that it's correct, is 2 things. You need to focus on those 25, remove the 975. Ideally, before you remove them, you focus on another 25 from that, or you add in 25 and you have 50 that you can really do business with. Because otherwise, you're diluting your message, you're diluting your time, and you're diluting your spend.
So you get the top tier partners that typically get these one-to-one programs, and then you've got a bunch of people that are maybe falling just below
the also runs,
that could be potentially
huge.
Tier 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just about being able to then lift those guys up
and enable them,
creating something really strong with them and enabling them. And maybe it's worthwhile taking some focused time to accelerate them and to come up with something that's okay. It's not necessarily going to be an absolutely bespoke program, but actually you're giving them the individual sort of potential, whether it's through great content, building a particular market niche together, creating some joint content, creating a campaign or a buyer journey that is actually supporting the needs of the buyer. I think typically what's sort of sometimes filtered down through the channel has not been the best marketing, because it tends to be product focused.
And it's diluted,
Absolutely. Whereas I think these days, as you've talked about, with the focus on account-based marketing, the focus on better buyer enablement, the focus on creating buyer journeys that are much more niche and personalised, that doing that together with a partner gives you that extra reach that you wouldn't otherwise get, but also needs to be done in a sort of very bespoke and customised way. So it's a balance. There's no simple answer.
There's no silver bullet. No.
You know, we've worked together on some campaigns that go some way to doing that, and we think that that's a good solution. But yeah, I think it's definitely an ongoing challenge. So that's been fascinating. I just wanted to sort of wrap it up to maybe sort of, you know, summarise and maybe the top 3 things.
Top 3 things
that you would say that channel marketers need to be sort of thinking about when they're planning their programs. Any recommendations potentially to have an impact?
I would say focus is key.
Mm-hmm.
More than anything else. It's a distant first.
Yeah.
If you're not focused on a specific set of goals, a specific focused area, a market, set of customers, and you haven't measured how you're going to respond to them, then you've failed before you've even started. Really.
Mm-hmm.
I think the number 2 is to combat apathy in your channel is to get agreement. So someone going is equivalent to a 5-year-old saying they're going to go to bed.
Yeah.
That isn't
going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. And so you need them to be excited, you need them to be engaged, you need them to be bought in. And in most resellers, particularly, you need senior leadership buy-in because they're the people who run the business from start to finish. They make the decisions. Yeah. So that's 1 and 2. And then number 3 is what works for someone else may not work for your organisation. So it's similar when you're doing DIY, as a lot of people have been doing, over COVID. It's measure twice, cut once.
Right.
And with anything from a marketing perspective, you need to measure before you start cutting checks. Okay. So identify what is working, how scalable it is, where it's going to grow your organisation, and then you start to say, right, now I'm going to start spending money on it.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
So appreciate all of your very wise insights. We'll try and put some summary of those in the in the descriptions, and then obviously if anybody would like to get in contact with you, you are probably best through LinkedIn.
Yeah,
or
LinkedIn. More than happy to chat to anyone.
Yeah, brilliant stuff.
No problem at all. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.